Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
We're finally done. We're finally done. It's over. And inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review.
Let's review.
Let's review for the last time. Season's greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And welcome to the finale of Christmas in July, the thing that we have put ourselves through all month long for our personal, I don't know, what do you call this, BlueDragonFive? Do you call this a test?
Let's say a journey.
A journey? A journey? Is it a spiritual journey?
Nah, no one could say that. But you know, Tiki, first of all, yeah, stop you right there, Lewis. We gotta go back a little in the song because this is our final outing in our Christmas, in our warm Christmas area here. You know, we gotta pump it up a little. Let's just gonna redo the ending there. So you say, let's review.
Let's review?
Let's review. Let's review. Let's review. Let's review. Christmas in July. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my god, that's glorious. Thank you for that.
Okay, I'm sorry, continue for it. It's the gift that keeps on giving, folks, and we've been given all month long.
We've been giving all month long, indeed. And, you know, when I started it, I vowed to do at least one Christmas special every day. I think, all in all, when all is said and done, I'm pretty sure I missed 2, maybe 3 days, but I'd say it's safe to say we've more than made up for that with the many times we've done multiple Christmas specials in the same night. So
yeah, American Dad, I mean, come on.
Yeah, 5 episodes in one night. That was not easy to do. Oh god. Okay, but first of all, before we get into our very emotional, very incredibly poignant finale episode, I just have one thing to quickly go over. BlueDragonFive, you want to hit the rewind switch on my head, just like Ed does to Double D in the Ed and Eddie Christmas?
Sure.
Hey, tomorrow we're going to be reviewing the Charlie Brown Christmas special. Now you want to press fast forward? Well, I'm sorry, folks. We're not going to be reviewing the Charlie Brown Christmas special tonight because, sadly and oddly enough, I could not, for the life of me, find a working copy of it. I found a few copies online that just would not load or were just laggy as all hell, so that's quite unfortunate because I really wanted to end with Charlie Brown, but alas, life goes on, and I also just really think, in general, this particular episode that we're reviewing tonight, it really is a proper place to close off. As good as Charlie Brown is, as classic as Charlie Brown is, we've already established Charlie Brown isn't really... It aired on TV, but it's not based on a TV show, which is kind of our focus on Christmas in July, so I guess with Charlie Brown out of the picture, BlueDragonFive, at the very least, you can say that we kept our formula intact.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, with that out of the way, those wondering, I don't know. Eventually, BlueDragonFive, I do think it'd be fun to go through and just, I don't know when we do this, but to go through and just review all the Peanuts holiday specials.
Yeah.
So maybe that's when we'll actually get to the Peanuts, or the Charlie Brown Christmas. But in the meantime, BlueDragonFive, you have been the one that have been, you know, pumping this up for me, suggesting this episode, hyping it up. So do you want to give us a little intro?
Sure. Well, folks, let me clarify here. Alf is one of the finest 80s shows. One of the finest 80s shows around. At least it's a big old nostalgic one for me, and it's really great. Paul Fusco playing Alf, Tom Paget. Those two guys are the creators and the writers on the show, and main heads of the thing. Basically, they put together a neat little show. Basically, a simple premise, and it sounds like an 80s premise, definitely, of your normal, average kind of suburban family. They're nice guys, and they're all likable characters. I'll say that. Not an unlikable one among them. I mean, you get the mother who's the rule maker, but also Willie who's the working stiff. You gotta love the guy. The kid, the innocent kid Brian, and Lynn, who is actually a really good model for teenage daughters because she's not your whiner. She's actually very mature for her age.
Yeah, I know nothing about these characters, but I definitely did kind of pick that up with her.
Oh yeah, they're a really nice cast right there, and even better. So then we have a kind of our twist, our '80s twist here, and that basically one night.
Is it an M. Night Shyamalan '80s twist?
I don't think it's that far fetched. So anyway, so like Willie has a ham radio because he's a. Well, Willie's technically he's a social worker in his day job.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so the point is like Willie has a ham radio, and basically Brian is fiddling with it one night. But both of them were fiddling with it, I guess. And basically, there was some interference in like the basement. The point is that has nothing to do with what happened. Basically, Alf, an alien life form, hence the name Alf for the abbreviation, crashes through a spaceship crashes into their garage, and we see an unconscious alien being there. He awakens. It's Alf, this wondrous being from the planet Melmac. Melmac are really an oddball of a planet, but filled with these lovable creatures with 8 stomachs. with 8 stomachs who love to eat copious amounts of food, only 4 teeth. They're one of their prime favorite food is cats. They eat cats.
Oh yes.
Which the Tanners have a cat, Lucky, and named Lucky appropriately enough because they do not let Alf eat him.
No.
Point is, they let Alf take refuge because unfortunately his ship is damaged beyond repair, and he's just stuck there. And they have an option, basically, send him to the alien task force, to which they specified he would be dissected and kept prisoner, which is not good. Either kept prisoner or
he would be dissected, as in they'd like dissect all his organs, and then would they keep his organs prisoner?
Well, okay, let me rephrase it. It was like either point is they'd subject him. No, it would end in dissection. Sorry, they basically do a bunch of horrible things. They keep him in prison, do a bunch of horrible things to him, then eventually dissect him, most likely kill him.
Right.
So essentially, they decide, let Alf stay, and he's become a member of the family. Ever since then, at this point we're in season 2 of the series. Everything's great. It's a nice little show, and I guess this is kind of the way I best describe it. Was like the ultimate Hallmark special, but in a good way.
In a very good way, yeah.
It's to me, it's like a special I can't miss around the holidays. It's emotionally resonant. It's has a lot of fun in it, but also a lot of emotional heft to it. It's a very likable special. It sounds odd to describe a special that way, but it's really fun. It's a must-watch around the holidays, and that's what we're here to discuss today. And we'll get into some of that emotional resonance as we go forward. But
it is by far the most melancholy Christmas special I've personally ever seen.
But it's a lot of heartwarmingness to it, though.
Not saying there's not, yeah, for sure, but there's also just a very, very thick layer of sadness to the whole thing.
And pretty much we're seeing Alf's first Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is it his first Christmas? Okay.
I believe, I'm pretty sure it is.
Right on.
I'm like, not, because there's another one where he's like going to get a Christmas tree with Willie. I think that's after this one, though.
Mm.
Anyway. So I guess we should, without further ado, we should get to it.
All right, you want to hop into it?
Okay. Let's see. Where to start? Okay, so again, it's Alf's first Christmas, and I should mention this episode shot with a different camera than per usual. It's shot with kind of that Hallmarky camera.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's don't get me wrong, it's similar to the show, but still, it's a little more Hallmarky and holiday-ish.
Sure.
It's hard for me to describe the differences in camera looks, but you can tell if you ever look in comparison or anything.
The colors kind of pop a little bit more, I assume.
Yeah, well, I mean, like your TV show has the 3 camera setup, and this one's like either your two camera, your 1 camera, your 3 camera setup is usually a sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
So this is literally a Hallmark specially shot thing.
Okay.
Anyway, so the point is we see the Tanners driving, so basically they're out of the house, and they're taking Alf with them, which is kind of, again, they always worry about Alf getting outside the house, because he's always kept inside the house to protect them.
Of course, and especially because you don't want him going around the neighborhood killing all the cats.
Certainly. But they've got Alf under control with the cats.
You never see right away.
Yeah, you never see him eat a cat in the show. Just want to point to. He tries to. He tries to. They
Oh,
never
no.
let him. Anyway, so they're on a road trip to a cabin, a winter cabin the Tanners have frequented in the past. We get some exposition from Willie. Willie's probably my favorite of the family.
Blue Dragon 5.
Yes.
This guy's accent just has Christopher Walken written all over it.
Well, he's definitely got some pauses in there, but
Yeah, pauses for sure.
like, what if Christopher Walken was a sitcom dad, pretty much?
Pretty much, yeah.
But still, you gotta admit, Willie Tanner's a very likable father, though. He's like Mr. C
I
level,
was
in my
very
opinion.
taken by that. I was like, oh, look, it's someone else who has Christopher Walken's, like, very distinct vocal pattern.
Alf, you don't get the holidays. Get out of here. Essentially. But yeah, essentially, yeah. I've always liked the Willie Tanner character. He's very understandable. He's tempered similarly to Mr. C. Only what if Fonzie was an alien, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Like, what if Fonzie was an alien that drove Mr. C crazy? Essentially, Alf and Willie always had this great bond that Alf just goes nuts. He always causes a lot of stuff that causes a lot of trouble and damage, and Willie has to deal with it. It's usually under his name.
Alf is basically like that friend who just always is just annoying and causes a lot of shit, but god damn it, you love him and you love spending time with him.
Yeah, because Alf is an innocent kid in the end of things, literally. I mean, he's 120 years old or something.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I forgot his age, but he's really old. They age differently on Melmac, so forgive me. Oh, I should mention his plant blew up too, by the way. That's the reason. That's the reason they mentioned in the special.
Yeah,
the reason Alf doesn't leave, in addition to the spaceship, is because they could always maybe repair the spaceship, but the point is he has no planet to go home to.
Right. That's very poignant.
That's important. Anyway, so let's see. Willie exposits some background that they spend Christmas at the cabin since Willie was a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And we get there. It's this old rustic cabin. We should mention Alf was like saying about like 99 bottles of beer on the wall, only with the ways of cooking cats.
yes. And
cats are frying.
I also love like when the car's pulling up and Alpha's talking. It's just like so very obviously ADR.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's just when you're a filmmaking nerd like you or me, it's like those kind of things. Just I get amused by.
Yeah, I should mention that Alf, usually the series, it's a very particular production. It's a lot of tension behind the set actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have to build those sets. Basically, the actors were kind of mainly Willie. Willie had issues with Alf because basically they have the whole show is about Alf, a non-human actor, and you basically have to build the sets like 3 feet higher in certain places for Alf.
Sure, right.
So on and so forth. And actually, tensions did run wild at times, and there's a lot of bad behind-the-scenes stuff I can go into. I'm going to keep it sparing. Like Lynn Real during the show's course was actually, I believe she was dealing with I believe it's bulimia.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah, and essentially, Willie kind of got tired of Alf now and again, but he also has his good moments with Alf too. Like there was this one moment he said he was so touched by Alf once because Alf actually blushed. He said the performance on Alf was so good once it looked like he blushed. No, but point is, tensions did run high at times, but overall made a really great show. Anyway, continuing on. So we're at an old rustic cabin. It's an old-timey cabin. Has barely been touched by time, hence the the water supply things like the pump.
Right.
And Alf is not thrilled.
No.
Because he says, it's a dump, Willie. Essentially, and we see Alf also in anticipation that there would be no TV up there. He brought the Tanner's TV and the microwave. Willie's saying, you know why? This is basically their relationship in a nutshell. Alf will do something that irritates Willie, and Willie explains to him what he did wrong. Alf, do you know why we didn't bring... Do you know why there's no TV? Because there's no electricity.
Now, what's in the second box? It's a microwave, but at this point, I think it's a moot point.
Oh, those two are funny. And Alf's big runner is that Alf is our Scrooge for the episode. He doesn't really understand Christmas that much.
Oh man.
He doesn't get Christmas, and all he gets is basically, it's kind of neat social commentary that he only
I
gets.
guess that's technically true. You're right. Like, I can't really think of anyone else to fit that.
Well, yeah, Mr. Foley's in this Christmas spirit.
But oh my god, just his arc in this episode, it's hard to. Oh my god, it gets so emotional so fast.
Oh yeah, Alf. I would say Alf is indeed his Christmas. He does have a character. He basically getting the holidays is his character arc, and it's interesting social commentary that Alf is just what he knows about Christmas is just from the fact what it seems on the surface to be, just the giving of gifts and so on and so forth.
Oh yeah, almost a Helga Pataki type character, if you will. Going back
pretty much.
Episode.
A little, yeah.
Little bookend.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's see. So, Alf's big thing is he wants to watch Perry Como, which does fit into one of our formulas that someone wants to watch a Christmas special around the holidays.
Yes. Oh, yes.
We got that with Angelica. We gotten that with Peter Griffin. We've gotten that with a few people.
Peter Griffin's a classic.
Yeah, they want to watch a certain TV show, and for Alf, it's the Perry Como Christmas special.
Uh-huh. Perry Como is like a running thing with Alf, right?
I don't know if exactly it's a running thing, but he's brought up a few times. But I don't think it's enough to be a running thing. It's just because Perry Como is a holiday special.
Oh, okay.
It's not a big old.
I kind of assumed that maybe Alf just had this weird fascination with Perry Como.
No, Alf name drops a lot of celebrities in the show, so I think it was just.
That's the thing. It's like I am like so not used to Alf and this type of humor and whatnot. I mean, I should be. It's not really that out of the ordinary to have like a jive talking pop culture spouting rope.
Well, Alf, actually, it's funny. The show ended on a really dark note.
Oh my.
Again, Alf would address these social issues in a lot of serious stories at times. But anyway, let's continue forward. So anyway, so they're at the cabin. Alf's less than thrilled. The kids are kind of getting used to the idea. This is an old-fashioned cabin. And we get the background here that basically the reason they're at this cabin a little more so is that Mr. Foley, this nice man who lent them the cabin, who not leases it out but allows them to stay there.
Yeah, he basically just invites them over to stay for the holiday.
Certainly. He allowed Willie, back in the day when Willie was a kid, he allowed him and his family to stay in the cabin when they had nothing around the holidays, like they were broke.
They literally got evicted from their apartment on Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah. I think it was their house.
So that right away, that's like the first depressing thing in this Christmas special. We haven't even gotten to anything yet, and that's already just a depressing thought.
But more importantly,
it's going to be a bleak one, folks.
More importantly, what's seen in here is that Mr. Foley's a really nice guy. We haven't met him yet, but we're just hearing the generosity of this man.
Oh, most certainly, yeah.
Met the hardship of the holidays and took him in.
The fact that the generosity has touched someone his whole life, essentially.
And this is important, too, what Willie says here, or what, I forget if it's Willie or Kate who says this. Basically mentions that recently Mr. Foley's wife's been ill, and basically said the cabin was free and he invited him over.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know if it's a yearly thing, but it's definitely like it's almost yearly. Because again, this is season 2.
That way, right.
This is season 2, so season 2 Alf's been there, so who knows? Anyway, so we find out Alf's been rifling through the gifts, and he's wearing a sweater, and we find basically he spoils all the gifts.
Look.
We find out basically Alf.
That's why I thought that there was like some sort of weird running thing with Perry Como on the show.
Yeah, I think it's just for the Christmas special.
Okay.
Point is, Alf has rifled through the gifts. He's kind of ruining the magic of Christmas by saying what each gift is.
Oh yeah.
Also, he addressed all the gifts.
I distinctly. This is just a weird memory that came up, like just associated with this. Oh man, I don't actually think it was Christmas. I think it was for Mother's Day actually. But I was in elementary school, and like we were all like doing cards for our moms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I guess one of the mothers there one of the mothers of the kids, I guess, worked at the school or something, and she came in and she's like, "Oh, what are you all doing?" And I don't know, for some reason I was all excited about it. And I was just like, "Oh, we're making cards for Mother's Day." And for some reason, Blue Dragon 5, like, this is not akin to revealing Christmas presents, but for some reason I got in a lot of trouble for that.
It makes Tiki. I gotta be kind of blatant with you here. That story makes absolutely no sense to Christmas.
No, I'm just saying, like, when it comes to when it comes to them getting pissed off at Al for opening presents, it's just something that came to mind. I still to this day I'm like, why did they get so upset? It's just cards.
Well, I don't get it either. So basically, you're making a Mother's Day card and you're excited about it. I don't see what the problem is.
That's what I'm trying to say. But anyways, I'm going off on kind of a tangent. It's all I'm saying is that it just kind of brought to mind that little story.
There.
But anyways, I'm sorry.
Anyway, still, anyway, so let's see. So Alf's going. He basically spoils all the gifts, all the reveals for the gifts to the family. Also, you find it's funny that he basically addressed a lot of the gifts to a lot of the family's gifts to him or from him.
From him, yes.
Who changed the meaning of from to?
Oh God. They had a meeting about it last Tuesday.
But I guess you didn't get the
Peter, so you must have thought it was from you. And
it's better to assume you're
call you an idiot.
Anyway, so basically the gifts being the sweater Alf's wearing, gives Willie some holly, which
oh God.
He gives Willie some holly. We find that Brian's getting a bicycle.
Yes. I wanted to tell him that he was getting. I wanted it to be a surprise that he was getting a bike.
I didn't tell him what color it was.
It's a red bike. It's a red bike.
It is a red bike. No, it's not. It's a red bicycle kit.
Have you seen the instructions?
And then let's see. Also, like Kate gets a robe.
Uh-huh.
Boys, then we find out that Holly is in fact Poison Oak, and Brian being a Cub Scout clarifies that.
Oh yeah.
Essentially, again, it's not a holiday until Alf causes physical injury to someone, namely Willie, as usual.
Well, he's the Boy Scout. How do you know that? Well, it's obvious. It's obvious.
Well, it's simple, Willie. Every week he puts on a uniform and goes to a scout meeting every week. Not that, Alf.
So at this point, Willie, he's getting just really fed up with Alf, right?
Yeah. But he basically nearly gave him poison oak against the wash off with a lousy water pump. And again, that's usually the thing with Alf and Willie.
Just physical harm.
It's usually Willie gets the short end of the stick. It's usually financial burden or like physical burden, like he almost falls to his death or something. It's Alf's fault. And Alf doesn't. I should mention, Alf doesn't do these things with malice at all. It's just ignorance.
Not sure.
So Alf's a lovable character. It's all out of malice, and also Alf's catchphrase, which is in this episode by another character, said by another character, "No problem." So essentially, Alf will say "no problem." Of course, it is going to end up being a very big problem.
Right.
So again, Alf means well, but he just doesn't. Mainly in this case, he just doesn't get the holiday. He doesn't get like the mystique of Christmas. He just thinks it's gifts. And what's the big deal?
Yeah, he's just like, you're still gonna get the presents,
Yeah, now you know what it is. I just did something nice. Yeah. Anyways, so he gives Willie poison oak, and Willie, now he's been nearly given poison oak, he's really just peeved at Alf, and he just shouts at him, take that poison oak out of here. And, don't rush back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, he says, like, you don't get, he doesn't care, he doesn't get what Christmas is. Basically, it tells him to get lost, essentially, with the oak and don't rush back.
Right.
Meanwhile...
I'm sorry, meanwhile... I don't know the names of these characters.
Mr. Foley.
Okay,
Mr. Foley.
Mr. Foley, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, Mr. Foley comes driving up to the house,
He's
and
only in this episode too, in case you're wondering.
I kind of figured. Uh, and he comes to see the family. He's on his way to the children's hospital to come deliver toys, and as a matter of fact, he's got a truck full of toys.
Well, no, Tiki. He doesn't deliver toys. Santa Claus does.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you. And but anyways, Alf, he's kind of eavesdropping in on this conversation, and he just hears like truck full of toys, and he's in there.
Yeah, Alf's gonna look for
what?
Alf's looking for some Christmas presents.
Oh yeah, and I just love his reaction.
The family.
He's just like, oh, look at all these toys. I mean, he doesn't say that, but just his eyes. He's so delighted by it.
Oh yeah, the ears moving upward.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he got some classic alien gags. Like he sees a football and he thinks it's like this is like a spaceship for Brian. Like the rolling cat platter for Lucky.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's see. So, and Mr. Foley dropped by just to see they made their way to the cabin, also to bestow upon them a gift before he leaves. A little envelope. Just don't open till Christmas now. Meanwhile,
and don't forget they ask about how his wife's doing.
Certainly, and he doesn't answer.
And he kind of just rushes out, so they pursue him, and then when he's driving away, he's like, sorry, I don't know the wife's name, but
he gets I get the wife's name. Just give it a second. It's Margaret.
Margaret, okay.
Says Margaret passed away 2 weeks ago, and he just says like casually as he's on his way out, and Alf's locked in the back of the truck.
Yeah. So again, very very poignant, but we haven't even gotten to the heavy hitter stuff yet. But
that's important too, because bear in mind, like, the Tanners thought she was ill, and then they kind of find out, like, we're sorry for your loss, because they don't know what to say, and they just rushed off.
Right.
So obviously, Mr. Foley is really touchy on this subject.
Oh yeah, most certainly.
It's only 2 weeks after the death of his wife, so it's understandable.
Yeah, I think most people would be a little touchy at that.
The point is, Alf's along for the ride.
And as soon as I saw that Alf was in a car full of presents headed towards a children's hospital, I was like, oh man, I know where this is going.
It's gonna be awesome.
Okay.
Right. We're at the hospital where Mr. Foley, decked out in his Santa gear, is giving away toys to the children at the hospital, one at a time. You got some douchey kid that takes 2 gifts, but that's important because he gives us 2.
Oh yeah, he's like, I want a baseball bat, a glove, and a ball. Well, you can only get 1 present. Okay, I'll take the glove and the ball.
Sick or not, that kid, he should get a lump of coal. I don't know, that kid was antsy. I don't like him. Anyway, continuing on. Let's see. So Alf's pretending to be a toy, basically just he's sitting in the back of the sleigh, being as still as he can.
This is really cool. Like, is it? I'm assuming like maybe it's just a mold of Alf at this point.
Well, I mean, it's literally just a puppet.
Okay, so it's a puppet. Okay, but
in this case, they might have just had literally the puppeteer sitting there. I'm not quite sure.
Right. Okay. I thought it was a really neat idea that he's posing as a toy.
Yeah, like you'll see, like at times you'll see him like just posing, like they have very subtle movements here and there, like that's him just standing still.
Sure, right. Okay.
Anyway, so point is, there's this little cute little girl named Katie. He says, oh, here you go, Kate. This bear's as cute as you. That's a nice little holiday moment. Then point is, 1 gift's left. To a little girl named Tiffany.
Yep.
But we're gonna try not to cry in this video. No promises. So anyway, so Tiffany.
Saying that name. Oh God.
Oh yeah, boy, that name's gonna have some resonance.
Oh God.
Let's see. Anyway, so Tiffany, like basically, Santa Claus here says, I can't seem to get rid of this funny-looking thing. And basically says, I think she's beautiful. And then Alf looks like Alf's, first of all, he's mistaken for a sheep, but it looks like Alf's going to Tiffany's room.
Mm-hmm.
Santa Claus helps Tiffany and Amanda Alf, I mean, to the room, and I guess it is a really nice little girl. She's nice. Because I find it so sweet that she loves Santa Claus. She's really looking forward to seeing him, and she wanted to give Santa Claus a gift. And then Santa Claus drops a big old ball of wisdom on her here. Says, it's not about getting gifts; it's about the giving of yourself. Very important line.
Yeah, I love that quote. Yeah,
that's going to come back into play big time.
Oh yeah.
Basically, Alf is there, and he hears Mr. Foley saying the giving of yourself. That's a poignant line. It's going to feed into Alf's overall arc.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Take us through the scene, Tiki. What happens?
Okay, so Tiffany, she starts kind of talking to Alf, or Amanda. I'm sorry. And let's see. She brings out a tray of cookies and also a teapot.
We should mention she's play acting right now, kind of like how Andy does in the Toy Story movies. Like, can you imagine again?
Right. She does a little fake pouring of the tea, and they're real cookies, and Alf sneaks one, which is very funny puppetry. It's like he just shoves one in his mouth, just flaps wildly for like a couple seconds.
Yeah, you should know they do that all the time on that show, him eating copious amounts of food.
Okay.
And they do it pretty much like that,
Oh, God.
Again, he has eight stomachs, so...
Yeah. The nurse comes in to take Tiffany's temperature, and she also takes Amanda's temperature. And then, okay, so let's see. I'm sorry, I think the nurse came in before the tea party, but...
I'm sorry, I should mention either has 4 or 8 stomachs. I can't recall if it's 4 or 8. I think might be 8, but it could be 4. I'm sorry.
8
go ahead.
What?
I forget if he has 8 stomachs or if it's 4 stomachs. I might be thinking of something else.
Okay.
I'm sorry, continue on.
So anyway, she's just going along. She's just, talking with Amanda, and then, but the thing that sets Alf off, I love this, is when she tries to put earrings on Alf, and then Alf is like, whoa, that is where I crossed the line. Oh, very funny.
Can I have another cookie? Essentially, Alf levels with the kid and explains the whole situation, basically saying, no, you can't tell anyone about me. I'm in trouble. I'm not a stuffed toy. I'm a boy. Blue's my color. Brings out my eyes. I'm essentially saying, I need your help. Come here.
Go any further, you would have put a bra on me.
Yes. So essentially, Alf basically... We don't see the full conversation. Basically, we have the sense that Alf explained he's an alien, landed with the Tanners, living with the Tanners, so on and so forth. He comes from Melmac, important.
Right.
Essentially, the girl agrees to help him out. They develop a bond.
Sure.
Anyway, so essentially, Tiffany helps Alf out and basically gives him back to Santa Claus, saying, "I don't want her anymore." And then Santa Claus miraculously has come up with another gift and basically exchanges them. It says, you can. I love the moment where Santa Claus says, "You can have both gifts." It says, "No, just one."
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
That's a nice moment. Okay. Meanwhile, we're introduced to Dr. Willoughby.
Oh man, this might just be the most heartbreaking scene of the episode right here.
Well, in retrospect.
Oh yes. Oh,
okay,
man.
So what happens?
Well, basically, he's just he's just telling old Satanic happy holidays and whatnot. And, and essentially what comes about is they start talking about Tiffany, and it's...
Oh, yeah, let's see.
Oh, my... And it's revealed that Tiffany she's,
Well, hold on a second. Let me see. Can I read it?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So essentially, yeah, so Dr. Willoughby and George...
doesn't he read that Newsweek clip?
Yes, that's the thing, yeah.
You have that?
No, do you?
No, shoot, I wish I would.
I got most of it down.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great moment, yeah.
Let me see how much I got here. Let me read through it. Anyway, the point is, Dr. Willoughby and George chatting. Basically, importantly, George gives him a check of a donation. Says, "Don't open it until Christmas."
Mm-hmm.
But the most important thing here, basically, then they're talking about Tiffany, basically saying, "Oh, Tiffany's been so excited to see Santa Claus. That's all she could really think about." And basically, because recently she asked me if Santa Claus exists. We'll let you tell her. And basically said I gave her this, and it's the Newsweek
I love this.
It's the Newsweek quote, which is kind of a classic tale. Again, it's kind of chalks up to our Christmas, I guess our Christmas formula of having that quote relate into our episodes, which has happened before. Or at least the message of this thing relates to our previous specials. Essentially, it is, I'm trying to recall this best I can, so forgive me if I'm a little off. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. Essentially, there's a Santa Claus in every one of us. Basically, the world would be as dreary if there weren't a Santa Claus as if there weren't any Virginias in the world. Am I right?
Right, yeah.
Essentially, that's what essentially saying...
I think I have it.
Okay.
Hold on one sec. Load, you fool. Now, there we go. Hold on.
Anyway, well, that's... Oh, here we go. Are we there, or are we still loading?
Okay, here we go. Oh, God. It's not still loading, but now I'm... Oh, God, you have reached the limit of your 5... Okay, let me see if it's on Wikipedia really quick, okay? But, keep going, though.
Okay, meanwhile, I'm going to regale... A lot of times I'm going to regale you with a brief story about Alf while you're looking for the quote. Anyway, so, it's not funny, and then real life right. Alf got the okay. You want to know how Alf got the okay? In real life, Alf, the show got the okay because Paul Fusco, he brought the Alf puppet in a garbage bin. I'm sorry? Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Tiki, can you hear me?
I didn't say anything. Hello? You there?
Sorry, just making sure you can hear me, the connection. Sorry, anyway, so yeah, basically, the story of that, how Alf...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Alf got the connect... Alf was greenlit because Paul Fusco brought the Alf puppet into a meeting and kept it in a garbage bag. And essentially, when the meeting wasn't going that well, basically brought the Alf puppet out. And it was sitting right next to the head of NBC and made it talk to the guy. Basically saying, you need me on TV, which I have now isn't working. And essentially, we won the guy where he had Alf pick his nose and wipe it on the executive. That won him over.
Oh, God. Wow. Okay, so I got the quote. You ready?
Okay.
All right. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists certainly as love and generosity, and he exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist. You know that they I'm sorry, really small print. You know that they abound and give you to your life the highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would the world be if there was no Santa Claus? It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith to them, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable that existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The external light which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. All right, there you go.
So essentially, basically, Santa Claus exists with the Christmas spirit, which is a good message.
Yeah, I love it.
And especially mentioning it's an article about a little girl, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so point is he shares the Virginia quotes, and let's see, so then ask if she bought it, and essentially says, what else could I tell a girl who's not going to see another Christmas?
Oh, man. Oh.
Essentially,
does it get any more heartbreaking than that? Does it get any more just brutally sad?
Yes.
You're right. Oh, God.
Anyway, so the point is, basically we find out she's dying. And just the thing kind of sends a chill up my spine seeing Alf's reaction to the news, man.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Alf realizing what's in it. And Alf, he kind of breaks off his escape mission to go back and visit the girl one last time.
Yeah.
He has to visit the girl after he's found out this news. He feels bad. Essentially, Alf says, Alf, what are you doing here? He says, I wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. Also see if you had any more of those cookies. You ate them all. Oh,
right.
Yeah. This is a nice and simple scene, basically, like comforting. Like fun thing about talking about the she's drawing and drew a picture of Alf. His nose is too big for the page.
Oh.
And like, there's a really sweet moment in there. Basically, it says, what's on your back there? It says, they're wings. Can't you tell? It says, they're beautiful.
Mm.
And then here's the thing that really is important here is basically Alf shares. They both share some comforting words, essentially about going to new worlds. Alf, she's worried and scared about going to the next world. And Alf says, well, I was scared too, but I made new friends. I met my family. I still miss the old world, yeah, but, you go on to bigger and better things. Which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's some consolation, but just, it's so harsh. It's so harsh.
And the really thing that really hits the nail on the head is that Alf leaves the room with tears in his eyes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's an emotional hitter right there.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, we see the Tanners. Tanners have found out that Alf is a no-show. Oh, actually, no. Okay, I think I'm a little out of sequence here, so I guess at some point before Alf said goodbye to her, basically they talked about the wings, and then it cut to the Tanners finding out that the cabin was a gift. So basically, Mr. Foley has left them the entire cabin with keys.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Right.
And then we cut back to. And then they notice Alf's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Then we cut back to Alf, saying goodbye to the girl and shedding a tear on his way out. Then we cut back to the Tanners searching for Alf in the dark.
And it's just this really heartbreaking night. It's just like, oh, will you stay with me until I fall asleep? Well, of course I will.
Oh yeah.
It's so sad. It's so freaking sad.
Then he walks out of the room with tears in his eyes. Alf's usually a funny guy. When he has those emotional moments, boy, does it hit home.
Oh yeah.
And so also then, meanwhile, they got some emotional distress from the Tanners because they're really worried about Alf. They couldn't find him. He didn't come home, so they're worried. And I like I love the transition that Brian, is worried about Alf, and Willie comforts him, saying, "Well, Alf's been around. He knows, he knows how to stay out of sight. He knows how to be, he basically knows how to get around. He's been around." Mm-hmm. Then we cut to Alf making his escape. Yeah. And I love how he's hiding behind the fish, and he says to them like a war movie, "Okay, boys, I'm going in. Cover me." Right. So Alf's making his grand escape. Which, by the way, if you see a shot of Alf moving, that's a little person in a costume.
Okay. Oh God.
If you see him full figure running, that's a guy in a costume.
Right.
And not a very good costume, I should mention.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's
good. It serves the purposes. But
for the 80s, I'd say it's okay.
I'm saying it serves the purposes, but if you ever looked at him straight on, you'd tell he's off.
All right.
Like from the back, it's fine.
Uh-huh.
So I don't like the idea of when you see how short Alf really is. I don't know. It takes away the illusion when you see the full. Anyway, so here's a fun story, a fun yet magical story at the end of it. Oh yeah. We see meanwhile, as Alf is making his escape, we see a pregnant
comic relief scene of the episode.
Oh yeah, but it ends with an emotional heavy hitter.
It does, yeah.
Because anyway, we got a bit of comic relief in this Christmas. I mean, come on, we can't have people shooting themselves around holidays. We got to have some holiday jolliness in there.
Sure.
So we see a pregnant woman and her, your basic stereotypical, baby delivery story. Basically, a pregnant woman and a nervous father, basically saying, "Okay, I got the baby books, I got everything. Honey, where are you?" Says, "You forgot me." Essentially,
he forgot her specifically because he needed lighting equipment. Like, really?
Everyone wants to film things. Who wants to film that?
Oh God! I mean, I could use some good lighting equipment, but yeah, I would not use it for that.
Meanwhile, so basically, they get her checked in and so on and so forth, and they're basically gonna put her in the elevator and get her up to the delivery room. And also, at this point, again, your classic nervous father stuff. They make the joke of like, I don't want to do this with any drugs. The drugs aren't for you; they're for him. Then essentially, basically, help the man with his bags, and then she's in the elevator. But then it goes up there, and since she's in that elevator alone, and we should mention that Alf, by the way, is under her gurney.
Mm-hmm.
Under her sheeted gurney with, I guess, the baby delivery supplies, some of it in there.
Right, right.
Then basically going up the elevator, and then the worst possible thing happens.
Oh, yeah.
The elevator stops working. So
Yeah,
it's out of order.
That's much a grade A nightmare scenario right there.
Oh, yeah. But luckily she has a melancholy on her side. Meanwhile, our frantic doctor and husband, they go after Mr. Foley, who's been wearing a red beard, wear a red suit, white beard. You'll be able to find. Looks like Santa Claus.
Mm.
They're getting Mr. Foley again. Mr. Foley important to the story. Get him to help prepare the elevator before he leaves, because all the maintenance guys are out for the holiday. Seems like a dumb idea, I gotta say.
Right, right.
This is the exact situation.
At least have one on hand.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so meanwhile, a funny story happened. So obviously I don't even want to speculate because I have no knowledge on this. Like a woman delivering a baby by herself would go, but luckily Alf's there and he dons the doctor's scrubs and garbs, and he essentially is an Alf delivering a baby story.
He's surprisingly competent in this scene.
He is. It's really funny. It's first of all, he gets up there. Again, mind you, he's covered, so it's not completely alien. It's not hitting the whole thing at once.
Yeah, sure.
He's funny looking. He's definitely not human looking, but he's in a doctor's gear, so he looks certifiable. Point is, I love just his reaction. He's so in control of the scene. Basically, going there, he says, "Hello," and basically she screams, "Ah!" Okay. Then, you already said that. Are you done? Sid says, yeah, I told them no drugs. You're not on drugs.
Yeah.
It's fun. Basically asking a bunch of questions, and some of the funny gags are like, my favorite gag is that she's like saying, where is he from, and so on and so forth, saying, he basically says, now is not the time to question. They're stuck in an elevator. Now is not the time to question my credentials.
Yeah.
Basically says he's from like the Milwaukee, no, not Milwaukee, Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Melmac, Minneapolis College.
I've never heard of that.
Is now really the time to question my credentials? Very funny. Anyway, so meanwhile, so Alf knows nothing about delivering a baby. I don't know nothing about delivering no baby. She has a baby book handy. Alf's looking through the baby book to get some knowledge. And the other favorite thing he says is like, I have a few questions to ask you, then we'll deliver this baby, calm and coolly, everything will be fine. He says, okay. Where do babies come from? How do you not know where babies come from? I'm not married. Very funny stuff. And he's looking through the baby book and. Funny stuff. In the last page of the baby book, he says, "Okay, so push," and then he turns the page. Then everything is fine. Wait, what?
Right.
Essentially, the baby is born. Alf, I assume, caught the baby. They held the thing out for the baby, caught it, and then the baby is born. The doctors hear the cries in the hallway. Yay! And it's a sweet moment. Alf brought new life into this world on Christmas of all days, or Christmas Eve of all days.
Don't forget that he suggested the name Tiffany.
Well, after he suggested his name.
Yeah.
Why don't you name the baby after me? Don't you think Gordon's kind of an odd name for a girl?
It's a girl? Oh, you didn't notice? Oh, well, I've got a big golf tournament. I have a lot on my mind.
Anyway, so it's a sweet moment where he says, where he suggests the name Tiffany after the little girl. It's so, what's so powerful about this, Tiki? As one life leaves this earth, he's brought in a new life to kind of keep on the legacy of the name.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what's so sweet about that moment to me.
Oh, man. The whole thing is just so sad. It's just so brutal.
And it's going to get worse for you, Tiki, because next scene, we see Dr. Willoughby. He confronts, after the elevator's been fixed by Mr. Foley, as Mr. Foley's walking out of there, with the gift still, with Alf in tow.
Mm-hmm.
This is important. I guess Alf overhears this also, which is important. The point is, find out from Dr. Willoughby. that he's talking to George, and he opened the check. And he'll look at it, and pretty much it's a not an even number. It probably is, basically this must be all your life savings. Oh, you got a big tax refund. Tax refunds don't usually come in this size, and it's usually a round number when people donate.
Yeah, yeah.
Essentially, the doctor's saying, I knew she meant a lot to you, but look, essentially, you got to look at things in perspective. Essentially, at least you might be just taking the loss hard by donating everything you own, pretty much. Basically, I want to talk to you about this tomorrow. Okay. And he leaves. And let's see. So, meanwhile, we see Willie's building a bike with Brian. Again, they're worried about Alf. Meanwhile, okay, big scene, big old scene right here.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So, I love everything about this scene. So, first of all, I love how we hear Silent Night playing on the radio.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, great choice.
I forget if Brian said, I hope it doesn't snow at this point. Because, again, Alf loves to see the snow. He would love to see the snow. But still, he wants Alf to find his way home, so I think Brian, who also is psyched about the snow, so I hope it doesn't snow, just so Alf can make it home, which is kind of nice.
Right, yeah.
The point is, Willie's trying to ease the tension by building the bike, but, things aren't working. There's a lot of worry in the air. Anyway, so now it's Silent Night's playing on the radio. It's a really quiet scene, really nicely shot. George is just driving right in front of us. Then as the song ends, in the snow, we stop, and, Alf's in the background dressed in the Santa Claus suit now.
Oh.
And the car has come to a stop at a bridge.
Don't forget the radio announcer.
I know.
A white Christmas for you, but first, here's a Harry Como classic.
Toyland. Essentially, it's Toyland. And Alf's so happy, and then he turns the car off, or turns the radio off, and Alf's like, oh.
Again, they have 3 different references to this guy, so excuse me for thinking it was a running gag.
No, it's a running gag within the episode.
Okay.
Anyway, so the point is, Foley stopped at the bridge, and Alf's Harry Como hopes have been dashed.
Right.
So a bit of comedy within this dramatic scene. Okay, so then we see, oh boy, I love the music in this scene, too. The music's the best part of this scene to me.
Yeah.
One of the best parts. So anyway, Alf, he's gotten out of the trunk to see what's up. We see Mr. Foley. He's walking up to the bridge, looking over the edge. We get It's a Wonderful Life moment where he's stepping up to the bridge. And I love that music's getting more holiday operatic. It's just building, and basically it's like, da-da-da. Essentially, it's right before he takes that final step. Alf, and so much I love this. I love Alf steps out and he says, wait, stop. And George turns around and says, go away. What I love about the scene, I love how Alf is visually it looks very pleasing. The snow falling down, but specifically Alf in the Santa suit with that lighting behind him with the headlights.
Right.
So the point is, Alf says, don't jump. He basically talks him down from a suicide. There's suicide down Foley. And Foley, basically tells him, I'm an alien life form. I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe in aliens because I don't. You're a figment of my imagination because I don't believe in aliens. You don't exist. I'm debating with William F. Buckley here.
That really does not make any sense.
The William F. Buckley line?
No, just the whole thing of
yeah.
I don't believe in aliens, so therefore you can't be here because you're my imagination.
Yeah, you're right. But Alf points it out, and it's funny. So the point is, I guess, Foley then mistakes him for Santa Claus because he's dressed in Santa Claus. Full of jelly.
I just love the idea that Santa Claus could just be this weird little furry creature.
I like more so that Alf kind of points out that, hey, what's with all the personal insults here? Anyway, so now...
is that another crack about my weight hiccup?
Funny. Let's see, so Alf is mistaken for Santa Claus here, and the point is, using that to his advantage, Alf talks him down from suicide.
Oh.
Essentially, he's saying, it's a really compelling argument Alf makes here.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just said most certainly, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the point is, he says, I'm an executive Santa, which I always love this idea. Again, this is chalk this up to like an interesting interpretation of Santa Claus here.
Yeah, definitely,
Even
definitely.
though it's not technically Santa Claus, it's a really neat idea. Like, yeah, an executive Santa Claus who delegates. Basically, that's why you have all your mall Santas and so on and so forth, particularly him.
Right.
He's saying, you have other people do the job. They can't do it all in one night. I'm just one guy, after all. His point is, then he highlights all the great stuff that Foley's done. And basically says, I think he's mentioned that I know what happened to your wife, and I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically says, well, you know why I'm doing this then. He says, I know, but look, you're too valuable to lose you. I mean, you allowed Brian Tanner to experience the Christmas that his father has before him. You brought toys to the sick, and here's the kicker, Tiki.
Oh yeah.
Ready the tissue box. You brought a smile to a dying child.
Oh.
And you brought a smile to a dying child. And then basically says, well, how do you know all that? It says, I see when you're sleeping, I know when you're awake. The whole ball of wax, which is still funny to me. So again, I think we get some humor infused all this drama.
Mm-hmm.
And the point is, he says, I know you lost your whole world. I can relate. You lost your whole world with Margaret. I can relate. But there are still people that need you. And this is a big line. If you thought that smile line was a kicker, this one's a big kicker. He says, Christmas is about the giving of yourself. A little girl told me that. I don't know who she heard it from. It was a wise man.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like, it really just kind of puts a lot of things in perspective. It's just, oh man, I mean, I'm sorry if I feel like I feel like I'm just kind of being one note this episode, because all I have to say is that it's so sad, just the whole idea. And I must say, it's also very ballsy in a way.
Oh yeah.
But all right, but
The
yeah.
fact that they brought it full circle like that is just very impressive to me. The giving of yourself message by Foley himself. Now they literally bring that back in his face later on. How that affected that little girl. And now that little girl's basically, again, if you want to look at it really emotionally, it's basically this little girl. Santa Claus gave this little girl purpose to live, and now this little girl is giving Santa Claus purpose to live, or at least Foley by Santa Claus purpose to live. It's a really moving message.
That is a really good way to look at it. Oh yeah. Boy,
really, really neat. Anyway, so then basically he convinced Foley, and he says, "You're a good man, Foley. I can't lose you."
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Come on, there's work to be done." I love, it's a silly thing, but I just love kind of a simple line. It's always kind of a neat sounding line whenever you can use this line. Dude. There's work to be done.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Walter White, of all people, has made that line really popular. But I mean, I still have things to do, or there's still work to be done. Just having Alf just casually say, "There's work to be done," and he's getting in the car, basically saying, "Hey, there's still work to be done. What are you doing slacking off there? Stop killing yourself. You got work to do."
Right, right.
That's a good line. Then basically, there's a good example of the shot where Alf's getting in the car. Maybe like the perspective shot, you see Alf legs moving, getting into the car.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you got a bit of comedy now that Foley's on board. Basically says, "I always want to see you get down that chimney," after basically saying, "Take me home. I don't think I have enough gas to get to the North Pole." It says, "Okay, take me to Willie Tanner. He's the one I want to look into for a future Santa Claus internship."
Right.
Or something. Then he says, "Okay, I always want to see you get down that chimney." He says, "Oh, me too."
Oh, God.
So we see the sad family, and they are really bummed out. Meanwhile, Alf's on the roof says, "Okay, here goes nothing." He goes down the chimney, and they're like, "Oh, wait, what is that? Santa Claus?" "No, it's not Santa Claus." I mean, we didn't hear his sleigh bells ring. Then it's Alf. He barrels down her upside down, and they get the gift of a Christmas Alf. Alf Claus. Yay! Everything's
Did you ask for anything more than that for Christmas?
I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, now you could think they could have ended it there. They could have ended it there. But what did they do, Tiki? They took it a step further.
Well, they're just like, hey, yeah, see your emotions? Yeah.
Okay, so let's build. I think we got 3 points within this ending to cover. So, we get first of all we get a really sweet moment of kind of again just pairing off how they basically save each other's lives, or at least save them temporarily.
Right.
You see Tiffany in bed, and we think she's talking to either another stuffed toy or an imaginary friend, and we see it's George Foley, fixing the bed. That was Alf's bed too. It's kind of nice that basically he's kind of filling in for Alf.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like she's still got kind of a buddy at the hospital with her now.
And she doesn't realize. I like how she doesn't realize that that's Santa Claus.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also love how Foley's been affected by Santa Alf. How basically, well, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to delegate and have you be my assistant.
Right.
Which is really nice and gives Tiffany purpose. Again, giving each other purpose. That's what these two characters have done.
Definitely.
Essentially, and I like the little, it's a funny gag. Basically, says, how would you handle that crescent wrench? And basically, he hands him pliers. Says, no, this works. And basically, you look at him, give like an expression like, oh, this is not going to work.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Really nice. And then, of course, oh boy, we got two. Here we go. And then Tanner stopped by for a few reasons. Mainly, Willie says, Mr. Foley, we can't accept this. We can't accept this. Appreciate the same. We can't accept this. It's because you have the tax problem. Yes. It says, I'll just invite you back next year. Which is nice.
Yeah.
And then, oh boy, here we go. Two moments.
Okay.
As they deliver the gifts to Tiffany after Alf has told them about Tiffany, they bring gifts, and I love how Lynn's the one to do it too. Lynn shows him. I believe we have mutual acquaintance. Shows the picture of Alf, and basically, I love the little shush moment. It feels so old. It feels like old school movie to me.
Yeah.
It basically says shh. Basically says, look out the window. Looks out the window, and I love how you don't hear it. I love how you just see it. You see them saying to each other, "I love you."
Oh man.
And I love you too. And then, okay, there's one final nail in the coffin here.
Let's just kind of, before we get to that, let's just bask in just how overwhelmingly emotional and beautiful that last shot is.
Of just Alf saying,
it's a doozy, man. It's like, like Alf is in the car, Tiffany's like up in a window, and
like an angel.
Yeah. Oh god, and okay. BlueDragonFive, just tell us.
And then, oh boy, now I've compared this. I'll admit, maybe not exactly the same case, but kind of Judith Barcy, kind of more like realism level type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I guess not as grim as Judith Barcy's case, but still impactful all the same. We find out that the episode ends, but before anything else, we have a black screen and two names show up. One about one of the writers or the friends of the writers on screen, but then
technical producer.
Executive producer, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
And more importantly, then we see, oh boy, we see Tiffany Leigh Smith on there. Basically, who it's dedicated to.
1979 to 1987, which is 8 years old, the same age that Tiffany was in the special.
Oh yeah. Which, by the way, I point something out there. I kind of glazed over. This is important. Over the scene of Alf and two of them saying "I love you." Another reason it's muted is because we hear Mr. Foley of all characters saying, reciting the Virginia quote.
Yeah.
Which again ties it all together, and again, the little girl's Virginia, basically saying, there were no more Virginias in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that Christmas spirit, and just showing Alf's come full circle. He basically bringing gifts to the girl, giving of yourself. He's been through the ringer emotionally. He now gets what Christmas is all about. It is about the giving of yourself. It's about the inspiring of hope via the holidays to people. Even the most desperate of cases, there is saving them around the holidays. There is hope for that, or at least giving some holiday cheer to the most in need of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen this, and even if you're not familiar with Alf at all, like I was, just do yourself a favor. If you're not into watching the Christmas specials during July, that's fine. But next time Christmas rolls around, you gotta check this out. I mean, it's wonderful comedy. I feel like I feel like the comedy relief bits are worked in so well, but most importantly, it's oh my god, it is just straight like a sucker punch of emotion in the best way possible, and especially because of that, the real life implication. Now, me and BlueDragonFive, we're trying to look up info about this little girl, and yeah, there's really not much on her. All we can figure is that she died from leukemia. I don't think that we both kind of agree. We don't think the little girl in the special is actually the girl who died. We think it's an actor, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to... Just figure it this way, folks, that if you are a girl in that situation, I think it'd be a little too much on you to kind of enact what will eventually happen to you on screen.
It'd be insanely cruel to ask a dying child to do that, I must say.
It's in terms of like how, why of all stories... Not just why, but I mean, why inspired off a real life girl. My assumption is kind of what influenced the story of the special is either one of the writers or someone on the production knew this girl directly, knew of this girl, or maybe it was a Make-A-Wish Foundation type thing that got them thinking about this case.
Sure. But whatever the reason, I mean, oh man, it's just a heavy hitter. It's most definitely the most emotional Christmas special I've ever seen. I mean,
I'll tell you one thing, it definitely immortalized the girl in something really positive.
For sure, definitely, yeah. And you've been hyping this up to me all July, and I've just been like, all right, let's see what the special has. Let's see. And yeah, it was a big one. So
yeah, the strength of the special, I think, was also you explore all these really mature and really heartwarming themes with the characters, really innocent and playful and fun. You wouldn't really expect it from, but you got Alf doing that, and he has that arc. He's mature to the point where he's like kind of seeing 99 cats on the wall, or 99 ways to eat a cat, Well, at the end of it, he's basically saying an emotional, heartfelt "I love you" to a girl in silence.
Oh God, oh, it's just too much. It's just too much. Oh,
that's a big transition. You really got to respect that. Alf has definitely come full circle in that.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great special. It's wonderful. I couldn't have picked a better one to end off on. And speaking of which, BlueDragonFive, is it safe to say that we have put enough mistletoe underneath the microscope for 1 July?
Not quite yet.
What do you mean, not quite yet?
Well, I mean, I think we just got to tally up any, kind of briefly tally up our findings here.
Oh, God.
Well, if not tally, I'm just saying kind of go over what we've had under the microscope so far. What's been marked? What's been checked off on our periodic table of Christmas elements?
Well, we most certainly have the Scrooge.
Oh yeah.
Believing in Santa.
Yeah.
Person home for the holidays. Person lonely on the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
We've had our last-minute Christmas shopping.
Oh yes, last-minute Christmas shopping. Can't forget about that. Christmas special within a Christmas special. Let's see. I guess maybe one of them would be sort of like how would you categorize American Dads? Just batshit, like let's do a Christmas special, but just do it way outlandishly.
Well, I guess you get kind of the religious implications of Christmas or something.
And then let's say the offbeat Christmas specials, like you didn't join me for either of these, but like, the Woodland Critter Christmas and the Futurama Christmases of the world. And
there's in-law interaction.
In-law interaction, oh yeah, gotta have that. Oh, and of course decorating the tree. There's always gotta be someone who's the big person who's obsessed with decorating the tree every year.
You have the trees and also like kind of decorations in general. So you get the possibles worked in that. The overzealous decorators.
Indeed.
The Turners also included in that category.
Common enemies coming together for Christmas. Speaking of
that's a big one. Basically kind of the peaceful resolutions around the holiday. Kind of taking it easy for the holiday.
Indeed. Eggnog. Can't forget about the eggnog.
Eggnog's a big one. Eggnog's a real big one. I guess we should briefly kind of highlight kind of our different interpretations of Santa Claus that really stood out.
Okay.
So I mean, definitely we got Johnny Bravo's Santa Claus, which is kind of like a violent yet awesome Santa Claus.
Yeah. James Earl Jones Santa from Recess definitely stood out to me.
That's a good one. Well, definitely Mr. Foley counts as a really good Santa Claus here.
True. Yeah, and I know for a fact you don't agree with it, but the Santa Claus who just slaughters all the woodland critters and Woodland Critter Christmas is fucking amazing.
Well,
as is the evil robot Santa from Futurama.
Yeah, obviously there's Futurama Santa Claus, definitely.
The Twilight Zone Night of the Meek Santa is a really strong one. I don't know, and Fairly Odd Parents was a good one.
Oh yeah, Fairly Odd Parents is a really cool one. Kringle Inc.
The Road to the North Pole one was really interesting.
Very.
So yeah, but that's cool.
Powerpuff Girls.
That's
Girls
the
Santa Claus.
Christmas trope in a way, is the multiple different interpretations of Santa Claus.
And the Powerpuff Girls Santa Claus.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
Also, I guess we should kind of see in kind of the Santa's helper archetype, the kind of the Uber into the holidays characters such as Ed and in this case Tiffany.
Wait, what do you want to highlight?
I guess kind of like the person who's really in the spirit / kind of the Santa's helper archetypes. You got Ed from Ed, Edd and Eddy. You got Tiffany for this case. And you got
Arnold.
Yeah.
Richie.
Yeah.
Mikey, of course.
No, I think I mean Fonzie, not Richie.
No, Richie's really into the spirit.
Well, in the second one. The first one's Fonzie, because Fonzie, he loves the holidays.
Yeah, but Richie's the one that convinces Fonzie to spend the Christmas with other people.
Good point.
Mork.
Oh yeah, definitely Mork.
Freaking, I don't know.
I guess, okay, let's just say, are there any overall messages for all these specials we want to kind of show that really makes a good Christmas special? So, like, what are some of the elements basically we're discussing our findings here. Overall, from all of this 31 days of reviews, like, what are the messages that really stood out? Like, what makes a good Christmas special? Let's pare it down right now. Some of the elements that really make a good Christmas special. A distinctive Santa Claus approach. There's something.
Yeah, I like not being afraid to go outside of the lines of the formula and kind of playing around with the formula itself is always fun.
Oh yeah, satires are always good. We've seen a few satires. That's usually a working formula. Just poking fun at the holidays and how crazy they can be.
Oh yeah.
You got to bring it home with some holiday feel goodness. So basically, some families coming together, some families realizing stuff about each other.
Yeah. I feel like the overall message of the Alf Christmas is pretty much like the perfect Christmas message.
A reunion of family for Hey Arnold. Just bring it back to where we started. And again, the reason we left Alf for the ending is because we wanted something emotionally resonant like Arnold was.
Oh yeah, and I don't think you could have picked a better choice. I really don't. I'd be hard pressed to find something more emotional than that.
And again, for me, my big thing for the formula is I want something that kind of says, Christmas is a time to kind of take it easy, put the biases or anything aside. Just it's not just about the gifts or just about the religion. Or not necessarily even just about being with the family, because sometimes the family's going to drive you nuts. It's just about kind of that day, just kind of bask in the Christmas spirit.
Indeed. Christmas
spirit
all about.
Christmas spirit's a big old theme in all these things. And just overall, especially with Alf, you just want to have the heartwarming holiday message behind everything. It just kind of makes you feel in the Christmas spirit, which I think this special gets. I think Kim Possible gets, at least for me. I get Ed and Eddy definitely gets it. Fits overall for our entire special.
Right.
So those are some elements that really make a successful Christmas special. I think I found. Anything else?
Yeah, no, not really from my end. But speaking of Christmas spirit, guess who's run flat out of Christmas spirit by the end of this thing? Me. So the hat goes off, and I really shouldn't be doing this,
No, 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 no. Hey, seriously, don't do that, Tiki. Hey,
Don't
you,
worry. It's fine. I'm not going to cause a fire. It's fine.
that's what I'm working. A little violent, don't you think?
All right. Well, you want to see violent?
Oh no! What? Ah!
I've had this planned out the whole time. Oh,
Ah!
not quite as satisfying as having it burn, but almost.
Ah!
Ugh. Oh, yes. You haven't had to wear the damn thing, so don't you me. This is a small Santa hat, and I have a big head, so...
Whose fault is that?
My dad's store for only having small hats in July.
Well, you know it's called eBay. Think about it next time.
All right, so there. The Santa hat is done. It's over. It's no
Tiki,
more. And
before you just,
also, I'd like to welcome back to the wall Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah.
I'm thinking, what about when that Christmas time actually comes?
What?
What about when Christmas time actually comes?
Well, then I'll hang it back up.
No, no, I mean about the hat.
I'll get a new hat. It's not like in December I'm going to be low on Christmas hats.
Okay.
Okay, so, yeah. From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to thank all you for watching Christmas in July. There is a big old playlist of all our videos that we've done throughout the whole month. So check that out if you want to see our whole journey in chronological order, if you're insane enough to want to devote that much time to it. I know I certainly had fun. I also certainly know I'm very glad and excited that it's over. BlueDragonFive, any last words on your end?
I guess just overall, we started this venture with the main goal of basically covering this. Just saying true, just the statement Christmas in July, which I guess kind of stems from just doing something that's a little out of the box that usually doesn't fit well together. It's the really warm Christmas science, just pretending to be science now. That's what inspired this whole shindig, stemming from Ed and Eddie, and it's been a wild ride. Just talking about Christmas, yeah, put you in a good mood talking about some holiday goodness, and that's what Christmas in July is all about. Saying it's not Christmas, but it doesn't mean we can't act like every day's Christmas.
Well put. And yeah, it's almost impossible to review Christmas specials and not be in a good mood. I mean, that's just part of it. It really is. So yes, we here on the So You Want to Be an Imagineer YouTube channel, once again, would like to thank you for joining us here on Christmas in July. It's been a really fun time. This is most definitely the most ambitious project I've undertaken so far on the channel, and I hope y'all liked it. And see y'all next July for more Christmas fun. Oh, yes, because there is most certainly going to be a season 2. All right, one last time, BlueDragonFive.
How are we gonna do that, Diggy?
La 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 la.
La 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 la.
Hey!